was dead. He did a whole lot of school. Won't be scared long.
You are Rainey.
Even to me.
Mort Rainey is a lonely writer stuck in a creative block that refuses to leave him alone. He spends his days in a quiet house near a mountain trying to write, but every page feels as empty as his mood. Amanda, his wife, and their dog live with him, yet even their presence feels far away. Mort's mind is locked on a book that simply won't move forward. One rainy afternoon, everything changes. A knock echoes through the house. Mort opens the door and sees a stranger, John Shooter, tall, soaked, angry. His eyes look like they haven't rested in years. He holds a note in his hand. Mort barely has time to greet him before Shooter demands, "Did you write that story about me?" Mort freezes. Shooter's tone hits him like a slap. The man insists Mort copied a story that matches his own life, his personality, his problems, even the darkness he struggles with. In Shooter's words, Mort made a huge mistake. Shooter leaves the note behind. It says, "Don't write my story." Mort keeps staring at it, confused, irritated, and scared all at once. He has no idea who this man is. He never stole anything from anyone's life, yet the fear settles inside him like a cold shadow. As the night grows deeper, Mort feels something strange, like his own written words are crawling into reality. Lines he once typed come back to him like whispers. Scenes from his fiction mix with the silence of his house. Sleep becomes impossible. He spends the next morning digging through old drafts, trying to prove, if only to himself, that he didn't steal anything. But everything seems clean. Nothing matches Shooter's accusations. Still, Mort's gut tells him something is wrong. The fear turns real when he hears his dog whining outside. He rushes out, only to collapse in shock. His dog is dead, and beside the body lies another note. "I warned you." Mort's panic explodes. He runs to the police, but without evidence. All they say is, "Probably a psycho fan." He leaves the station feeling even more alone. The next day, Shooter returns, this time holding an axe. His eyes burn with rage. "You stole my story. You stole the story of my wife's death." Mort tries to steady his voice. "I didn't steal anything, but if you can prove it's your story, I'll apologize." Shooter smirks. "I'll bring proof. The original script. If you didn't steal it, why are you scared?" Mort begins to contact everyone from his past. His editor, his ex-wife, old publishers. All of them confirm the story is his. Still, doubt starts eating him from the inside. He dreams of bloody pages and burning houses. He wonders if he once read a forgotten magazine at a train station. Maybe the idea slipped into his mind without him knowing. Maybe he did steal something. One night, he hears noise in the yard. When he steps outside, he finds a wooden cross stuck in the soil, a fake grave. On it is written, "Your wife's grave." Mort's throat tightens. Shooter isn't just seeking justice. He wants destruction, and a darker fear rises inside Mort, one he's not ready to face. Mort Rainey's world keeps twisting into darker corners. Fear from Shooter's visits lives inside him now, crawling into every shadow, every creak of the floor, every corner of his quiet house. A thought gnaws at him. What if Shooter isn't real? What if he is another version of Mort himself, a side that has broken free and fights him from the inside? Desperate for answers, Mort hires a private detective named Ken. He tells Ken everything: the notes, the threats, the dead dog, the impossible events. Ken nods and promises he will investigate. Mort feels a small relief, almost like he is breathing for the first time in days. But relief is fragile, and fragile rarely lasts in Mort's world. 2 days later, Ken is found dead near the woods. A note lies beside the body. "The seeds you planted are the ones that will grow now." Mort's chest tightens. His hands shake uncontrollably. Everything he thinks he knows about the world unravels. He doesn't know who to trust or fear, or whether the fear comes from himself. The line between reality and imagination vanishes, leaving him unsure if he is the hero or the villain of his own story. Shooter appears again, this time in broad daylight. He doesn't hide, doesn't announce himself with storms or shadows. He just stands there and says plainly, "Only the last page of my story is left, and that page has your blood written on it." Mort freezes. The words hit him like a curse, a challenge. Anyone else might break at this moment, but Mort can't. If this story ends, he decides, he will write the final page himself. Mort still can't tell if Shooter is a real man or just a fragment of his fractured mind. Shadows near the forest seem to move toward his house. His breath catches. He whispers to himself that it is all all imagination, but his voice feels weak. Then a knock comes at the gate. Shooter steps through the door, calm, unnervingly calm, but the madness still burns in his eyes. "Enough," he says. "You have one last chance. Accept the truth, or this story will end in blood." Mort meets his gaze. "If you think I stole your story, then bring your original script and show me. I want to know the truth." Shooter smiles, a chilling twist. "Next Monday, I'll bring you proof. If that day you still deny it, I'll finish you with your own words." The stress of waiting nearly breaks Mort. He checks every old draft, every publishing date, every file on his laptop. Everything shows the same story. His story. Even Amy, his ex-wife, reassures him that he has worked on it for 6 months. But even she can't hide a trace of doubt in her eyes. Mort's mind seems to turn against him. Soon, Shooter's shadow appears inside the house, in corners, reflections, hallways. Mort locks windows and doors, but it doesn't matter. The fear isn't outside anymore. It is inside him. One night, a sound from the basement draws him down. On the typewriter sits a new message. The story is unfinished, but it will end soon. Then neighbor Tom goes missing. Police question Mort. Villagers avoid him. Mort begins to doubt himself entirely. One day, he finds a dug-up pit behind the house, filled with bloodstains and burned clothing. His chest heaves, mind spinning. Shooter appears again. "This is all created by your own mind," Shooter says. "I came from within you. You made me. Now you can't destroy me, because I am you." Mort screams that Shooter isn't real, but the figure steps closer. They fight violently, pushing and struggling until Mort shoves Shooter down the basement stairs. Darkness swallows him. Silence follows. A few days later, Mort walks into the village shop carrying a new book. Secret Window, the final chapter. The author name reads John Shooter. Villagers ask who wrote it. Mort smiles quietly. The one who deserved to wrote it. But the question remains, is Shooter ever real, or is he just Mort's second personality, the monster born inside his fractured mind? And maybe, deep down, even Mort doesn't want to know the answer. Was the bloodshed really committed by someone else, or was it proof of a writer's downfall? Mort Rainey returns home, but there's a new calm in his steps. The fear that used to show in his eyes has vanished, replaced by a strange coldness. He shuts the front door, draws the curtains, and heads straight for the basement. Downstairs, it's fully lit now. A bulb hangs from the ceiling, revealing the pit covered with soil and the half-burned wood scattered nearby. A table holds a typewriter, and on it sits a book titled The Final Chapter. Mort laughs loudly, but there's no joy in it, only a kind of madness, like he's accepted everything he's become. His reflection in the glass catches his eye, but it isn't his own. It's Shooter's. Shooter isn't just in his mind anymore. He's a part of him. Mort talks to himself. "Now no one can stop me. I've finished the story, and now everything will end." Meanwhile, Amy, his ex-wife, arrives at the house with the police. She's worried about Mort's mental state. The police try to enter the basement, but the door is locked from the inside. Amy keeps saying, "I'm afraid he might harm himself, or someone else," but the officers need concrete evidence to force their way in. Down in the basement, Mort types a story that's no longer fictional. On the page he writes, "I killed him. I looked into his eyes and then buried him in the dirt." His eyes gleam as he reads it. He is no longer just a writer. He has become the story, the villain, and the observer all at once. Soon the police get a missing person report. Tom hasn't returned home for 4 days. They return to Mort's house, knocking more seriously this time. Mort answers, calm, neatly dressed, holding a cup of tea. He smiles. "You've come again." They ask to search the basement. Mort hesitates, then says, "Of course, come in." The basement appears neat. The pit is filled with soil. A flower vase rests on top. The officers glance at Amy, uncertain, but she knows something is off. A sudden stench draws their attention to a wall. When they knock, the wall gives way, revealing a hidden space. Inside, a bag holds human clothes, charred documents, and a blood-stained hammer. The case becomes clear. Mort is arrested. Amy breaks down, unable to believe how far he has fallen. Mort stays calm, repeating only, "I just finished the story." Just the story. In court, psychologists testify that Mort has dissociative identity disorder. His other personality, John Shooter, committed the murders and hid the evidence. Yet one question remains. Was Shooter real, or a reflection of Mort's mind? In the hospital, Mort spends his days typing on an old typewriter. Every keystroke feels like he's releasing some hidden truth. When a nurse asks, "What are you writing, Mr. Rennie?" he simply says, "Just an ending that no one can change." The hospital dean reads Mort's pages. Each line carries pain, anger, madness, and truths not proven in court. Shooter, Tom, the window, the pit, all of it. The last line reveals the final truth. Shooter was not just outside Mort, but inside him too. Psychologists write books about the case, People study it as a window into the mind rather than just a crime. Amy visits once more. She says, "I loved you, but you frightened me. Now, all I can do is forgive." Mort looks at her, calm, a trace of Shooter still hiding inside. She hands him a wedding photo. He smiles faintly, then lets it fall. "That time is gone. Now I am just the story," he says. Mort presses the last key on the typewriter. The final page reads, "The end is not always what we want it to be. Sometimes the end is just a beginning." The story ends, but the truth behind that secret window remains. Mort's mind shows that the darkest corners are often inside us. Was he guilty, or just a man facing his own truth? Was Shooter real, or a reflection of the fear society refuses to see? There are no simple answers. The window still exists, and if you look closely, a shooter may be lurking inside yourself too.